Okay, welcome everyone to our Wisdom of the Heart video series. And today I'd like to introduce our guest who is joining us from Queensland, Australia. So I want to welcome Helen Reynolds. Thank you so much, Helen, for being here. It's really an honor to have you join us from all the way across the globe.
Thank you, Lynn. It's a pleasure to be here, and lucky for Zoom, huh?
Yeah,
You know,
lucky for Zoom. Yeah.
we're creating interconnections all around the planet thanks to Zoom and other platforms like that.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you taking time out today. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Helen. She's going to get us started and just maybe read a couple of sentences from a chapter in A Course of Love. It's the First Treatise, chapter 5, and it's entitled The Choice for Love. And so we'll go ahead and let Helen just kind of start us off, and then we'll just expand from there. So Helen,
right.
I'll go ahead and kind of turn it over to you, and let's see where it goes.
Let's see where it goes. Well, that's all we can do at the moment, isn't it? I mean, the world is showing us that we have to be willing to step into the unknown. And the only way we can be comfortable doing that is if we know who we truly are. And the only way to know who we truly are is to know where our heart is. And of course, we have a heart beating in our body, but our heart is more than that. It's more than that. It connects us to who we really are. It's the physical organ that crosses the spirit physical barrier. It's the organ that brings us together into our wholeness. And so I just love passages about the heart, and this is a lovely one. It's as you said, it's the First Treatise. The treatise on the art of thought, which is just so incredibly important at the moment. We're being so challenged with the way we think, with everything that's going on with COVID, and it's only going to get more dramatic. We're going to be pushed more and more and more to correct our thinking and to hold strong to the art of thought. So this is the first chapter, it's the First Treatise, the 5th chapter, and the 10th verse. Okay. So, the body, and thus the you whom you think you are would not experience anything without the presence of the heart. The heart is the only cause of your experience here. When released from the ego thought system, the heart becomes the determiner of what you experience, since you know it is the cause. This is what is meant by the mind and the heart being joined in union, or being wholehearted. It is the real you, or center of your self, capital S self, being joined with the only thought system that is real, the thought system of truth. How could a thought system based on anything but the truth lead to anything but illusion? Mm-hmm. And I just think that really captures where we're needing to be right now. We need to hold strong to who we really are, and to do that we have to join the heart and the mind in wholeheartedness. And we have to, well, we don't have to, there's no have to's, but that's the nicest way to journey into this unknown future that the whole world is facing right now.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that passage, and everything you were saying is really resonating so deeply. And I agree. It's, just going for me, it's like that's where I've been trying to, I wouldn't say trying to, but actually dropping it. I would prefer maybe say dropping into that space of wholeheartedness. Yeah. Well, I really feel that I'm connected at the center of my being, where the mind and heart are actually joined, or just as one. It's really not two separate things, as you were saying. It's like almost like the bridge. It's almost like a bridge between.
Well, the heart does bridge. And the
Yeah.
beautiful work from the Heart Math Institute has shown
Oh
us that
yeah.
the heart has this magnificent ability to send and receive electromagnetic signals. And they have been able to prove that our heart signals send and receive up to 3 meters, or is it 9 feet, outside of our body. That's why it's the organ that bridges the non-physical with the physical. And it's just so important to be bridging that and bringing it into unity at the moment. And it gives us the capacity to go within and go without, as above, so below, as within, so without.
Yeah.
And so we're able to unify that spirit part of us, or that the other way to think of it is that we are always embraced by our heart space. Somewhere in the Course of Love, I'm not good at remembering the exact verses, but it says we cannot escape. There is no escape, because we are always embraced by the heart space. It's all around us all the time. We just need to open. I kind of say it's like open my bring your mind into open-heartedness, because like you said, we drop down into the heart space, so we actually have to bring our mind to open our mind to receive the heart in many ways. And that's what the course is about. The first book of the course is about opening the mind to receive the heart.
Yeah. Open the mind to the wisdom of the heart. Yeah, I love that. And I'm familiar with the Heart Math Institute. And like you said, there's actually, I think what they call it is coherence.
Yes.
And it generates a harmonic energy field.
It does.
And when you're in that space, I mean, you're actually abiding in the inner wisdom of the self. And that radiates out to everything and everyone. It touches and permeates and encompasses all of it, as you were saying.
It changes the world. That's all right. Look, we're so challenged in the world at the moment to hold strong to our wholeheartedness. I've been particularly challenged over the last 10 days. I started looking into to try and find the truth about what's going on, and it just swept me away. So to anyone who's watching this video, it's way more important to stay wholehearted than it is to try and work out what's going on, because regardless of what's going on, we are going to be asked, forced, pushed to go forward into an unknown set of circumstances. The world is going through a set of circumstances that has never, ever been done before. And therefore it's unknown. The only way to step forward into the unknown with any kind of certainty is to bring that certainty from wholeheartedness, and to know that we're always embraced and surrounded by love. Sometimes I remind myself, I think, if all this love is around me, what am I doing to it? Am I telling it to, because when you're in a bad mood, we're human, right? We have bad moods at times, and things get us down, and we worry, we get swept away by worry about family members or friends or whatever. And so in those moments, I kind of remind myself that I'm surrounded by love, but I'm so worried. I'm essentially saying, oh, get stuffed, love. I don't want you today. Because the worry pushes us away and contracts us, and we become contracted and no longer able to receive. We essentially become contracted up into our heads, and then if we're able to recognize that in ourselves and open our minds back to our hearts, and then open our hearts to the love that's surrounding us, everything changes. Our body relaxes and expands, our heart expands, our perception of our options expand, our perception of the goodness in other people expands, and everything changes.
It's beautiful. It's transformational. And it's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, because to get to this practical aspect of it, as you were just saying, with everything that's going on the planet right now, we had a discussion about this earlier in a Zoom group today. And, I wanted to ask you, which is, because this question comes up all the time, is, if we're not fully sustained yet in this place of wholeheartedness or Christ consciousness or, resting in God or whatever you want to call it, and these disturbances arise, the anxiety, the worries, and like you said, you use that word contraction. Do you have any practical ways that you actually use, like when you feel a little bit unsettled and you want to drop back into that beautiful space of wholeheartedness, like just practically speaking?
Yeah. The first is the ability to observe you've been swept away. And
Beautiful.
the second is acceptance that you've been swept away. I mean, at that point, there is no point in beating yourself up for having been swept away. None. Look, we're human. We're human. We are sensitive beings. Any of us that have tapped into the energy of the heart, we're all sensitive. So we're going to be sensitive about what's going on around us. And we're going to feel it. And we need to be okay. We need to accept that we're going to feel it. And then depends how far I've been swept, but sometimes I literally just have to put my hands on my chest and physically feel my heartbeat to, that's sort of when I've been swept a long way away from who I truly am, and just use the physical sensation of the heartbeat to bring me back. And then I imagine my attention, when we're swept away, as I said before, all our attention is in our head with worry and anxiety and confusion and fear. And I literally imagine my brain kind of draining down into the heartbeat. Or it's just sort of this energy move from my head into the physical heartbeat. And then I notice that my shoulders begin to relax. And then I imagine that energy field that's coming out from my heart and into the space around me. And then I have to, it requires a degree of discipline. This requires discipline. And I remind myself that the love is coming back to me as well. It's not a one-way street. I am loved. I am embraced by love, as we all are. And it's that space in between us that unifies us. So that's sort of how I practically do it. It's quite a, you start logically because you've been swept away. The mind has gone into some kind of worry and confusion and whatever. So you have to start with the mind. You have to bring the logic back in, and then move into an energy space, whatever. Well, see, that's the thing. We're all individuals, and we're never more individuated than we are when we're in our heart space. So what works for me, something similar might work for a few people, and something very different might work for many, 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 many other people, because we are all different. But essentially, it's that moving from the logic into the energetic heart space that's pure positive love energy.
Yeah, I love that. You said exactly. The first step is sort of to recognize it, and then the second step is to accept that that's what's happening. And I love that too, because that's kind of what my experience is too, is actually first notice it, and then, not try to push it away once I notice it, just to accept that this is what's arising in this moment. And like you said, sometimes I notice sensations in the body. And sometimes I feel like, that's part of the human experience as well. If you want to say something about that, because we were talking about that earlier, is that, in some spiritual circles, there's a denigration of the body. People, see it as it's not real, and they just, give it a bad rap. And I've noticed that to be fully grounded, though, in this wholehearted space, it's fully human and fully divine. And so the body, even though it's ultimately, and absolutely not real, I feel like the body, I'm going to ask you how you feel, but I'm just saying, for me, it's like almost like a receiver, that there's signals and things that are going on in my body. It's almost like an energy field. And I can feel disturbances that are rising, like my neck tightens, my shoulders tighten, or I feel butterflies in my stomach. And I think that's kind of part of the process to get more grounded. I don't know how you feel about that. I wanted to ask you, because we had talked about that earlier.
No, it's absolutely. I'm pretty sure somewhere in A Course of Love it says that every single cell in our body is designed to send and receive. So I agree with you. There are some circles that think that the body is just a void, or an empty, not an empty space, or maybe
Illusion. It's an illusion.
Yeah. The thing is, though, we cannot have a human experience without our body. Without our body, we are still an extension of Source or of God. We're still part of Christ consciousness, but we're no longer physical beings. So therefore, to be a physical human being that has the ability to taste and hear and feel and all those beautiful things that we can do when we're human, we have to have a body. It's non-negotiable. But the most pleasurable way to have a body is, or to be embodied by love.
Oh, beautiful.
And to do that, we need to be wholehearted. So it's a full circle back again. But when I think about my body, especially when I experience pain or discomfort of any kind, I remind myself that my body is informed. So I am in a physical form, and I am informed by spirit, by my true source of being. And then that's what's in charge of me. That's what's giving my body life. And therefore, when I experience pain or discomfort in my body, I have either adopted a thought pattern or a set of behaviors, mostly thought patterns, and some kind of unwillingness to receive the source of who I truly am. Because there is no suffering if we are a direct extension of God. We are made in God's image and likeness, if we go back to the Bible, and God is spirit. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact chapters and verses. I'm not good like that. And now I've forgotten what my train of thought was. But yes, I remember. If we are informed by spirit, there is no pain and suffering, because spirit is pure positive love energy.
I think that's too what the Course of Love is, guiding us into, is that elevated self of form, and it's elevated capital S self, the divine self. So I'm seeing it as you were saying, like the body is almost like, can be a transmission device, it can be communications, or it's actually more like, to me, a vessel from which being informed by spirit, the spirit, God, love flows through this vessel. And it's a representation of love, but it's not who we truly are. And I think that is something that's, like I said, it's battered around in so many spiritual circles. Oh, the body's not real, it's illusory. But, in the relative practical world, as you were saying, we're having a human experience right here. So why deny that? It's both and, it's the absolute and the relative, it's formless and the form. And the body for me is like a representation, or there's another phrase that I came across in A Course in Miracles, where it said the body is a frame of holiness. Isn't that beautiful? A frame of holiness.
If I go back in my mind, a few, I don't know, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I'm not a good timekeeper, like I'm not a good numbers rememberer. But I went through that phase where you wonder, what diet should I be having? How much exercise should I be doing? Should I be eating raw foods, whole foods, meat, no meat, fish, no fish, eggs, no blah 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 blah. And it just goes. That is trying to live in the body through the mind, and it just sweeps you away. And it makes life really complicated, because suddenly now you've got this, this dietary protocol, and you're going to stick to it, and you're probably going to evangelize it a little bit, tell other people they shouldn't be eating eggs, or they should be eating eggs, or blah, blah, whatever it is. And then eventually you let all that go, and you know that your body is informed from the heart of who you truly are, and suddenly life becomes simple. And you can eat what you're inspired to eat, and you can enjoy nature the way you're inspired to enjoy it, and suddenly you can appreciate how other people are inspired to do or not do whatever it is they're doing. And the point I'm trying to make is this absolute simplification of life.
Oh yeah.
And suddenly all the rules start dropping away, and the only rule, to use that term, is to be wholehearted.
Yeah, I love that. It doesn't get any more simple than that. And it's like I get the image of, like, the anchoring in, like you're anchoring in this, the divine, it's in this moment. That's what's alive anyway. It's only real right here and now. It's all there ever is. So I'm anchoring in, the spirit. It's informing everything in this moment. And yeah, I think it's just something we just have to, like you said, it's a devotion, and just to give our whole minds and heart to this. Because, I love this line that is underneath the paragraph that you read in the same chapter of Choice for Love, where it says, you must experience, and the experience is italicized. It says you must experience the reality of the new thought system, or it will remain forever theoretical. And that's it, unless we have that living, breathing experience of it, just remains theoretical.
Yeah, I'm conscious of time, because I think we could talk all day, Lynn. But, in the Way of the Marys, that beautiful,
Oh, yeah. Mirari, the Way of the Marys. Absolutely. I have that.
Mother Mary is both encouraging and instructing us to be the new. Be is not quite the right word, but to embrace the new. And that's, that's that line about experience the new. And the new is that wholehearted way of being. And it's unfamiliar to us.
Yeah.
Because we've never been that way before. Not, I'm often qualifying the things I say, but, some people have lived that way, but as a collective on earth, we've not lived that way in an extraordinarily long period of time. So
yeah.
It's unfamiliar to us.
We can trust, as you say, we're always being held in love. We can trust. We're being embraced by God, by love. Yeah, it's just, oh, yeah, it's all beautiful.
The words trust and faith are part of the English language. I say that to people sometimes.
Yeah.
That we have those words for a reason, because we need them. You said something else that triggered a thought. Anyway, it's gone, so be it.
Yeah.
The word devotion, that's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes that brings up discomfort for people, because so associated with, it has a lot of preconceived ideas around that word. It
Yeah.
has baggage. Let's just say it has baggage.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to remember that it's certainly living wholeheartedly is a discipline,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes life easier. It simplifies things. It gets you to the truth faster. It holds more wisdom, and it allows you to be your authentic self and
Beautiful.
your fully individuated self. Think about to me, that is just so obvious. I don't know why people sort of have any trouble with that, because look at the world. It's encouraging sameness, the same education system across the world, or at least across a country, the same medical system as far as possible. That's what's going on now. The same fashion trends, the same music trends. Where's the individuation in that? And then those who are seeking a mental kind of individuation are having to push themselves. They're really trying to push their expression. Whereas when you come from wholeheartedness, that individuation is just natural. And suddenly you feel part of everything, yet not standing apart, just fully individuated. I can't think of
Yeah.
another way to say it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got off on a little tangent there, but living from the heart space is easier. It's simple. There's synchronicities, the thing that you need just comes to you effortlessly. The piece of information that you need to be able to progress whatever it is you're working on. One day I was working on my website, which still needs some work actually. Anyway, I'm clicking away trying to sort something out, and I thought to myself, I actually don't know how to do this. And the idea just came to me, just move the mouse up here and click on that. Oh, I thought, I don't know not to do that. And that's how the truth comes. It's just this little impulse. And of course it worked.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I get
so
that.
sorry, I got sidetracked.
Yeah, I was going to say that harmonic energy field it's like a flow state. That's what I like to call it. It's like a flow state. When you're in that, you're just totally open, and you do receive the guidance and the intuition and whatever the insights, whatever you needed, because the analytical mind is out of the way, and you're open to something new. So yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Helen. We're running up on our time. So we're going to have to close, but I just wanted to give you, if you have any one like last thought or something you wanted to share with everyone before we close, because we've said a lot.
We have said a lot. For anyone who maybe isn't yet grounded in what we're talking about, just know that you are so much more than you know yourself to be. So much more, and you have so much more ability to do good here on earth than you could ever imagine, and all it takes is a willingness to be wholehearted.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Helen. We're going to have to close for today, and maybe we can actually join again at some point in the future. This was a lovely discussion, and I really enjoyed it. So I just wanted to thank all our viewers out there, and next time we'll have another guest at another topic. Thank you, everyone. Blessings, peace, and love.
Lynn. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me share these words, and blessings, peace, and love.